In episode 22 of my Hiking the Continental Divide Trail series, we trek from the Wyoming-Idaho border to West Yellowstone, soaking in this vibrant tourist town. Continuing toward Lima, Montana, we're captivated by the Candyland area's vibrant, colourful rocks in the rugged Centennial Mountains. Crossing grassy ridges and high desert terrain, this leg delivers unique geology and wild beauty. Join us for an exciting adventure through Montana's untamed wilderness. Alright, here we are on the Idaho border, which means a couple of things. First one is I've passed mile marker 2000, and it also means we are now 2/3 of the way there to the Canadian border. I am worried that I am running out of time. I'm on a 6-month visa, and I'm worried that that's getting close and I'm going to have to cut the hike short. Originally it wasn't a concern because I thought I would just duck into Canada and when I came back it would renew, but in these times that's not possible. So I'll just have to try and squeeze out some more miles each day and hopefully we can get it done, but I am worried that it might not happen. We'll see. Also, no sign of Chip Crusher, CC today. I'm not sure where he's at. He could be in front of me because I didn't see him this morning out of camp, but I suspect he's gone back to Old Faithful Village to get breakfast. So I'll sit here and wait a while and hopefully he turns up.
Right? I'm sorry.
No worries.
How good are these guys? This is what you call hard labour. Making the trail so much better for us. So to all you hard works out here, thank you very much.
I don't think we're... You want to crush that tree or not?
Howdy ho to Idaho. Here we are in the state famous for their potatoes. The CDT only passes briefly through Idaho, just in the top western corner. But we'll enjoy this new state while it lasts. Trail's just turned off Forest Road, which I've been on for a while. There's a split where you can take the max in alternate, which is a shortcut. Up for this section, we're staying on the official CDT and heading up towards West Yellowstone. After 50 kilometres, I figure that will do for the day. I find a flat spot to set my tent just off the road. Out to the southwest I can see a dark storm brewing, but it is patchy so I'm hopeful that it will skirt around me. But just as I think this, the sky gets angrier and the thunder starts rolling in. I start racing to get everything in my tent. My dinner is cooked and rehydrating down the road a bit. I charge down there to grab it, and just as I scoop everything up, down comes the hail. Back to the tent as quick as I can and throw everything else in as well as myself. I close all the storm doors and sit there to ride out the storm. I made it to camp about maybe half an hour ago, and there was a massive storm out to the, I'm not sure which way it was, but out to my left. I could see it coming, hoping it was going to bypass me. But it is crazy. How's the hail? That was the biggest storm I've experienced on this hike. The tent was getting smashed by hail, but to its credit, it held up fine. The hail turned to rain and it was torrential. It went on for about half an hour and then just like that, it passed over. So an exciting end to an exciting day. I started out on the magical Old Faithful geyser basin, trekked into a brand new state, and then ended the day in a freak storm. Never a dull moment, as they say. Two milestones in 2 days. Here we are at the Montana border. So the trail follows fairly closely the Idaho-Montana border over the next bit. So we sort of wind in and out of each state as we go forward. But that's 4 states down, only 1 to go. First look at the trail in Montana. We've left the forest road, cutting up. First 10 k's today are all downhill. The next 10 k's are all uphill. But it's been pretty good so far. There's big mountains out there in the background. Just down here. Not sure if you can make it out. That's the town of West Yellowstone, where I'm heading today. So far this Idaho-Montana border section is beautiful. I'm walking through a different type of pine forest and open meadows with summer flowers blooming. Those big mountains out in the distance are a little bit daunting, as I know whenever I see big mountains out off in the far distance, it always means we're heading that way. After a relatively short day today, I come out of the Gallatin National Forest at Taji Pass Trailhead. It's just a short walk to reach Highway 20. Now it's time to stick the thumb out and hope for a lift into town. At the highway, I'm right on the border between Idaho and Montana. There are lots of people stopping to get photos of the border signs, and I'm in luck getting a hitch as I only have to wait 20 minutes for a ride. Paulie has organised new trail runners which are waiting for me in town. I'm going back to the Max Cushion soled Ultra Olympus, which my feet will be very happy about, especially with the bigger miles I'm going to need to start doing. Chip Crusher didn't make it into town after a late start getting going in the morning. By the time he got to the highway, it was just on dusk, which is not the best time to get a hitch, and so it proved to be. After waiting for over an hour, he retreated back into the woods and set up his tent. He'd had more luck in the morning and made it to the hotel at 9 a.m. He was starving and so was I, so we head across the road to the Running Bear Pancake House. The place is packed and there are people waiting outside for a table to be free. I guess it must be good. We are told it will be half an hour's wait, but that's okay. The banana pancakes with real maple syrup are a hit. A Nero day today getting organised for our next section to Lima, Montana. We decide to head back out on trail around 4 p.m. We've packed our burritos for dinner, so I don't have to worry about cooking. We head off and no sooner are we out of the motel and it starts to rain. As we head higher into the mountains, it gets darker and darker and the rain is now belting down. Not the ideal circumstances to get back out there. Our plan is to hike until we find a campsite, and we do that after 2 miles. So a busy day in town, but an easy one on trail. Chip Crusher said to me this morning, "Did I hear that animal that came grunting and snorting through our camp last night?" The joy of wearing earplugs is I'm oblivious to such things. but I did hear it first thing when I got up. It was just over the hill and out of sight, so I'm still none the wiser. I wasn't going looking for it to find out what it was, just in case it was a bear that I didn't want to run into. From our campsite high on the mountain, we have a fantastic view looking down onto West Yellowstone and the Yellowstone National Park. It is covered in a thick blanket of fog. This morning I was all packed up and ready to go when I went to start my tracking watch. But I wasn't wearing it, and guess where it was? That's correct, in my clothes bag, now securely ensconced right at the bottom of my pack. So everything has to come out and start all over again. These are the little things that drive me mad out here. Been climbing now for over an hour. Very steep up out of camp this morning. You'll see we're going up the trail this way and then all the way along this ridge line. Still keeps going up and up and up, right up over that peak there. Oh, it's a beautiful morning, not fun though. Here I am at another border line, Idaho on the left, Montana on the right. It's a pretty crazy view out there. Still going up, been going up for 2.5 hours, heading up to that peak there. Towards the top of Taji Pass, I head through an area known as the Candyland. As you can see, this is because of the amazing striped rock boulders. They look remarkable. Just made it to the top of Taji Pass. I think that's how you pronounce it. Been a long climb. When you add the 3 kilometres we did last night, started at 7,000 feet in elevation, and right here we're at 10. So a big 3,000 feet of elevation climb. It's been a tough morning. But we go over the top now and then head down onto forest roads, I believe, for a few miles, so that will be a good bit of a break from the climbing. All these trees are leaning over. It's all the result of snow avalanches the last snow season. This is looking back from where I came. They came right over that path there and then just switched back all the way back down, come down through this valley. Big mountains. Now that we've gone down, it's time to go back up again. I'm passing through an area with very little water sources. It makes the day that little bit tougher as it is quite hot out. I'm not sure what the temperature is, but I'm guessing it's in the 30s. What's that, 80s to 90s Fahrenheit? Especially when we come out of the valley and head across a mountainside looking out over a huge prairie. There is nowhere to hide from the sun's glaring rays. Out of the prairie, we drop down to cross Highway 87 at Reynolds Pass. Again, we are right on the Idaho-Montana border. Here's another look back from where we've come. So you'll see that valley way there. So I came up over that mountain range and down through that valley. And I came across the side of this mountain and down to the highway. And then we came up and around this way. Big circle. It's been a big day and we make it to the last water source for the evening. We fill up our bottles, but unfortunately there is no flat ground around here to camp. So the packs go back on and we walk up one final hill for the day and down a mile or so to a junction where we get sorted. That's 47 kilometres or near 30 miles covered for the day. A pretty good result considering the amount of climbing that was done. As opposed to yesterday's tough start to the day, this morning we get a leisurely walk trending downhill on a dirt road. We're walking through grazing farmland with lots of cattle and big mountains off to the side in the background. Out of the grazing land, we head up through a beautiful little forest and come across our first huckleberry. They seem to be a local delicacy. They are very similar to a blueberry. We met some travelling Australians yesterday who were out looking for some. They said if the people haven't got to most of them already, then the bears will have hoovered them up for sure. They love them. Well, this is pretty spectacular. The trail takes a strange turn, and when I look at the map, I can see why. We are going around a mountain. It is huge and too steep to even think about going over the top. We are travelling midway along its side, and the drop-off below is just as steep. Heading farther around the mountain, we drop out of the forest and enter a valley which is home to Hell Roaring Creek. The creek is aptly named as it is very loud. We bump into two southbound hikers, Solar and Luna. This is the third time we've seen them. The first time was back in the Cirque of the Towers in Wyoming. Like Stinger, they are driving a car and parking it and then hiking back to it in sections. Speaking of Stinger, I bumped into her again as well. She is still going strong. I must get photos of these people next time. Chip Crusher says to me, there's a lot of water around here that's not listed on the map. We are going into a section with no water sources shown for the next 21 kilometres or 13 miles. We check the map again and we are way off trail. I've missed a junction we were supposed to take west. Damn it. We stayed on the main trail and it is swung up to the north. In the overall scheme of things, it's not a big deal, but right now it's killing me. Probably because it's hot, the trail is very hilly and I'm pretty worn out already. It is a waste of more than an hour, and retracing each step hurts with frustration, especially with all these painful up and downs we are doing while baking in the hot sun. What a waste. This is what you call being high up on a ridgeline. I've just climbed up a mountain, and sitting on top of that is another one. There's those two over there. Oh, it's nearly killed me today. It's been a tough one. And then on top of this other mountain is another one, that one there, which I've got to get up and over. Then looking out the other side of the ridge line, how's the view? My pack is feeling extremely heavy today. With all the extra water and food, it is squeaking and squawking under the load. I put on some music to try and take my mind off things. The first song that comes on is Gordon Lightfoot's Carefree Highway. I should be having a carefree day, but today it's just not happening. At 3:45 PM, I've already been going for 8.5 hours. With 21 kilometres to the next water source, I'm not sure I'm going to make it there today. Ah, what a disaster. But as Chip Crusher says, there's nothing to do but to do it. Don't ask me where, but somewhere around here is the trail. It is forever appearing and disappearing. It has been so difficult to track. Not what I need at the end of a long day after being going for 13 hours. Hopefully it'll appear again. Here it is. Found it. Oh, can't understand how I ever lost it. I lost it again, but I found it again. Can't you tell? Okay, there's a fair bit of patch of ground. I don't know how many times I've nearly broken an ankle walking through this stuff. My day of disasters continues. After the big 21 or 2 kilometre water carry, got to where it said there was going to be water, some kind of spring. There's really nothing there, small muddy puddles. There was one sort of little pond, but it didn't look that great either. So now it's a bit after 8 o'clock, and we've got another hour and a half to go again. The next water, which is about 6 kilometres away. Oh, what fun. I come down off the trail ridge to go look for some water. I decide to bushwhack some more and cut across to the trail to save some time. I stumble upon a tiny stream, but one that is flowing with clear, clean water. Yippee! That saves me from having to go any farther. I gather 2.5 litres and decide to continue on back up to the trail where I'll find somewhere to camp. I'm not sure where Chip Crusher is up to, as I haven't seen him since after lunch. He's in front of me somewhere, so perhaps he's gone on to the next water source. After more than 14 hours, I've hiked over 51 kilometres, but only 45 kilometres are actual trail miles. I've had an incredibly frustrating day, but having found water and a camp, all is fine once again. It's amazing how you forget the difficulties, and in the end, it's been a pretty massive day. It was 11 o'clock last night when my head hit the pillow. With the alarm going off at 5 this morning, it has been a pretty quick turnaround. I sure could use some more sleep. I'm still a bit weary from yesterday, but today is a new day, so I'll just take it easy and work my way into it. It is nice and overcast, so that will make hiking much friendlier and more enjoyable. So I had the sign to say we're in a sheep grazing area, and here they all are, all up on this hillside. I wonder if the Maremma dogs are here. I need to keep a lookout for them. Oh my God, you can't believe how high up they are on the mountain. Let me zoom in. They are ripping into these leaves. I've crossed paths with a number of southbound hikers today. First off was Sloppy Joe. He gave me some good information about where he started his hike on the Canadian border. At the moment, the traditional finishing points at Waterton Lake in East Glacier are closed. This part of the CDT travels through the Blackfeet Reservation, and the Blackfeet Tribal Council have decided to close this side of the park due to COVID. After Sloppy Joe, I met Cruz and Savage, and then later I crossed paths with Puzzler and Tomcat. This is what the trail has mostly been like today. Overgrown, quite thick with these, not so much grass but plants. Skies remain pretty grey. got a little bit of rain, not too soaking, but after yesterday's hot day, it's nice to have a bit of cover from the sun. Been going up and over a number of mountains this morning, a couple of steep ones. But the day's going pretty good. I stopped for lunch at a great spot today. I had big views out to the north and south as I was high on a ridge. Most of the afternoon is spent going up and down puds. You remember they are pointless ups and downs. When you gain and lose elevation, it seems for not much point. In between, I have two really big climbs to get over. Both are crazy steep and take a very long time to do. The last big climb for the day just happens to coincide with a developing thunderstorm. It's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and I've done just short of 36 k's. My only dilemma is this is the last water source for the next 18.5 kilometres. There's a couple of big hills coming up too. So the question is whether I'm going to be able to get to the next water source in time. Even at 18.5 k's, that's a minimum of probably 4.5 hours. 4 o'clock now. It's going to be 8:30 at night. So I've gathered 2.5 litres, heavy pack again, but at least the sky is not hot like it was yesterday, or the day is not hot like it was yesterday. The sky is still grey, so that's helping. But we'll see how we go. Talk about bad timing. I'm just about to climb up and over this peak over here, and back behind me I've just had two big booming thunderclaps. There's another little one. So hopefully it stays away, we'll be okay. I'm back to climbing painfully steep mountains. The gradient in places is ridiculously steep. There are a couple of steps where I haven't got enough forward motion and nearly topple over backwards. These climbs always kill, but 1 foot in front of the other always gets me there. It's just a matter of time. Well, the rain after threatening all day is starting to settle in, but the best thing that I can see, if I zoom in, down there is a dirt road, and I'm soon going to be on it, so I should be able to pick up some speed for the rest of the day. Well, another hour and a half, rest of the evening now. It's already 7 o'clock at night. One final climb for the day, in the rain. Gonna head up that ridge, up over that dirt road. The CDT, just to rub it in. Raining and a steep hill to get over. Some people hate dirt roads. I love them. Get to make some miles. Much easier on your feet. Big day. It's 10 past 7 at night. It's raining, as you can tell. And on about 48 k's. Not sure whether to stop and camp or just keep going in the rain to the next water, which is about 6 k's away. That'll make it a late night. I'll just keep going and see if it gets any better. I get to the intended water source, but can you believe I've hardly drunk any of my reserves? I carried 2.5 litres and only drank about half a litre. It just shows the difference between hiking in the cool and the hot like yesterday. The rain has been so heavy that my rain gear has wetted out. I'm soaked through. But thankfully it's easing off now as I'm looking for a camp spot. A nice pine tree turns up that has some dry ground beneath its branches. It's sloping downhill a bit, but I'll take it. It's tricky getting set up while everything is so wet. I end up stripping off outside the tent just to keep what I can inside dry. It's been a big day and I'm surprised I've got through as many miles as I have. But the last downhill road section sure helps in the end. I hang all my wet clothes in the tree branches and it's time to hit the pillow once more. An easy day today, for I am continuing to walk down this dirt road to Interstate 15 where I'll hitch into Lima, Montana. By the way, Lima is pronounced Lima as in the bean. I'm surprised, but everything has remained relatively dry in the night. Amongst the grass and being close to a stream, I was sure everything would be all soaked with condensation. The only things that are still wet are my clothes. They haven't dried off a bit, so apart from my socks and undies, everything has to go back on, cold and wet. It's terrible at first, but not so bad once you get used to it. That is the I-15 interstate down there. I'm about to hitch into Lima, which means I take a turn to the right. But if I could take a turn to the left, I could hitch into Las Vegas or something like that. A bit more exciting. It's only 4 miles to I-15 and I'm there in just over an hour. There already is Chip Crusher, who I've not seen for the last 2 days. At trail logs and talking to Sobo hikers, he was always just 20 minutes in front of me, but I could never quite catch up to him. He informs me that he hiked until 9 PM last night and all the way to the highway. Trying to hitch on an interstate is very difficult as the traffic is travelling so fast. I ring the motel where we will stay in Lima as I hear they run a shuttle. We are in luck as another hiker has booked one and will be here in an hour or so. We get dropped off at Jan's Cafe and it is straight in for breakfast. In the cafe we meet up with Karen and Robert Kuchen. I first met these guys way down before Silver City in New Mexico. They lived in Colorado for 30 years and wisely skipped that state knowing what it would be like to hike it in May. They flipped up to Rawlins, Wyoming and have continued on from there. They will soon head back down to Colorado and enjoy it snow-free. At the motel we meet Stinger and Raven as well, so it's like a regular hiker reunion party going on. And then later in the day, Golden turns up too.